All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going over USDJPY. Like always, this pair's the bread and butter. And if you all like to trade multiple pairs, let me know which pairs those are. Maybe we could go over those in depth too. For me, I always just like the way USDJPY moves. Gives us these nice, long, drawn-out moves, and they happen pretty frequently. So this week, I see somewhat of a fractal pattern happening. In other words, history repeating itself, right? Because oftentimes in the market, events will play out and you'll see a similar event play out immediately afterwards. And what I mean by that, so take this area here that we've talked about a lot. So I'm not going to go into detail as to what's going on there, but we have these pushes, but nothing too significant, right? Nothing that really wanted to break this range above, but price was sort of indicating towards a new higher high playing out, right? Actually reaching these new price levels. So we consolidated in here, then dumped off, took liquidity down here, then it reached those new higher highs. Now I see a very similar thing happening where we're in chop consolidation right up in here. And we did have a nice push out of that. And then immediately down here, what was appearing to be a floor, right? Some support for price, pushing that off into new highs. But right, we didn't get to the highs still. So this is what I'm finding interesting right here. We're having this happen that is very similar to what happened here. And if price is going to want to go to higher highs, now I'm seeing that it's very likely liquidity is going to be below this. That's what I was saying last week. But once this was happening, I was kind of thinking, oh, maybe this is actually going to go higher. And think of how many other traders were also thinking, maybe this is just going to carry on through. Maybe we're not going to see those lower lows. So what happens when this market goes into consolidation here is that people are starting to change their bias. They're starting to agree that price is going to go higher, so they're starting to buy in. And then when they start to buy in, well, who's selling those shares to them? That's where you have the banks, the institutions, the market makers. So what I see here is that we could have a very similar thing play out. Where price is going to consolidate, and then we're going to see a dump off, and then we're going to see liquidity being taken, and then we're going to see the new higher high. If price is going to continue in that direction, which I believe that it is. So I think it may be smaller though. That's the thing. I think it might not be as significant as this push, but we'll see. We still have this area of liquidity that's been pretty well respected right here. And if not, we have this weekly level down here for price to return to. If anything, I'm expecting just this level here to be broken. But if I take a Fibonacci on this entire region, and this is just 0, 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, bring it up here. Down in these areas would be like a huge amount of liquidity. I wouldn't expect price to break below this. Like definitely if we're going to be bullish. Like if I look on the let's see, the daily here, I would be surprised. Like if we made a lower low, frankly, we're going lower. But by then it'll be too late. So with this, what we're looking for is essentially like a break into these regions. Somewhere anywhere, like I said, from here down. Just somewhere in there. And this is vague. This is a really vague area. But if we see price break down into these levels and then create some support, we're going to see it push then further higher. And like I've shown on previous charts, there's levels of interest above this. As I've said, and as you know, we're right up against all-time highs for this pair. So if we're looking all the way back to back here, we got this giant wick reaching up here back in October of 2022. It's very likely that wick actually gets taken, but maybe not yet. Because even look at how these weekly candles are playing out right now. Let me get rid of this Fibonacci, because the weekly looks a bit cluttered with all the drawings. But we had last week's price gap lower, and it formed a doji, a bullish doji, But ultimately, we wicked to the prior high way back here, all the way in November of 23. But now we have this next candle where it's like, I would almost expect this to just be a wick and then see a correction down into here. But I wouldn't want to see this level be broken, because this is a significant move anyways. This is like 400 or 500 pips. If we're breaking below that, we're going to be bearish. This is going to be like the new ceiling somewhere around here. But what I'd like to see is something more along the lines of this. And again, this is speculative. This is not financial advice. I cannot predict the market. I'm just speculating on, if there was liquidity taken down here, it'd be a great opportunity for market makers to be buying back their shares somewhere down in here, higher than this level, and then pushing it off into these new higher highs. That'd be the most profitable way to do that. So if we are going to see that happen, that is my bet. So as I said, what do you all think about this pair right now and what's happening? I think a lot of people got fooled in this move and in this move, which means there's a lot of people buying right now, right? There's a lot of people who probably are holding long orders, waiting for this to break out of the box so they can actually take their profit. But if there's people holding long orders from here, right? Like, let's say people were buying in here, where are their stop losses? Right down here, I bet below this level. Just considering this was such a significant push low, people are saying, a lot of people, they'll just watch for the last previous level and they'll put their stop losses there. And if someone's buying and their stop loss is right here, that's a sell order, right? So market makers need people to get to sell the orders to them at lower prices. So that's where they invoke them to buy these moves right here. And then they can get it to sell back by using those stop loss orders against them. So I think something like that's going on. I think this area could be ripe for the taking. So we may have a short position on the table until we have this greater long. That is the main point that I'm getting at here. But again, like I said, these videos are not intended to be financial advice. If you are a wise trader, you know that in order to get better at this game and in order to actually be profitable long term, it's about doing your own analysis, being able to trust your own psychology, trust your own decision making. The only purpose that I do this is because I just want to provide an example of the way that I think and the way that I have approached this market for so long now. So I hope this is helpful. I hope you learned something, and I wish you the best this week and next week. I'll see you then. All right, everybody take care. Peace.